So we have some information or reason for gathering information. So this next section is going to be about just an introduction to consulting. And the goal is that you can have some information prior to your first meeting. That allows you the opportunity to be able to review what the athlete provided for their dietary analysis, what they provide for their activity, their health history. That way you have a little bit of time to prepare and get a better understanding of the athlete's needs. The information that should be included is going to be the basic demographics, and that would be the age, sport, history of their health, what kind of supplements or medication that they're consuming or utilizing by choice or by prescription, and their records of their food intake and their exercise log. The dietary history is a way to collect information about their food intake. It is a challenge because athletes do not always want to be forthright about what they consume. They sometimes want to give you what they think they should be eating, even though they might not be eating that. There is an opportunity to talk to the athlete, ask for clarification, ask for more information that's going to help you to do an analysis. It is time consuming, but it is a very informative process that is worth doing. The health history questionnaire gives you a background of what they are currently experiencing, their past, present history, physical, medical history, and any kind of issues that they're currently experiencing that should be understood. Here's an example, and this is one that's in the textbook. It has, of course, in the very top, this information is confidential and will not be disclosed to anyone outside of this organization. Now there's a caveat with that, and if you find that there are some health issues related to concerns regarding the athlete's safety, there will be some probably some organizational requirements for you to share. So that's something to keep in mind, be aware of in your institution. Now this information again is going to be really important. That will also identify, do you really need to have a licensed nutritionist that's going to evaluate and follow up with the athlete. So here is the medical conditions. If they're recently diagnosed for cancer, they need a medical nutritional analysis, and that would be something that you would not want to take on for yourself. And here we have our individual, and here is our family history of any of the above information. Do you take any supplements? Do you smoke? Are you a cigarette smoker? You might want to know if they're doing any recreational cannabis consumption as well, whether or not they're taking any CBD, so other issues. Here, do you consider yourself overweight? That is in the center. That is a question that can give you some insight about a person's eating disorder, perhaps. And let's see here. Basically, please circle the typical meals that you eat on a regular day. So this is just some critical information that can help you identify, is this outside of your limits, or are there some specific components that you need to know to be able to make some recommendations, to be aware of what the athlete might be needing for goal setting. We can collect food intake several different ways. Most of the time, a food record is the standard. That is where an individual will write down what they consume for a specific number of days, and that gives you really a basis of hopefully seeing what a typical day or week looks like for that athlete, but it's very cumbersome. Something to keep in mind. The 24-hour dietary recall is where a person can go back and say, well, here's what I ate last. This is what I ate yesterday, and or what does a typical day look like? That is a way to do a dietary recall. And a food frequency questionnaire is another way that gives you an idea about an overall picture. If you don't get a good typical day, then a food frequency questionnaire can be filling out some of those blanks. You want to encourage the athlete to do a typical day, and in some case, again, I'm going to remind you that they might need a little assistance to understand, why are we doing this? This is for you. This is to help us get a good idea of where some nutritional needs might be that you're not getting. And we want to make sure that we're able to do the best we can for giving recommendations. So it's real important to be clear that you are not judging, but you are there to help. So the question and answers may be necessary. You'll undoubtedly need to interview the athlete to get some clarity. And here you'll see you have the time, the food, beverage, amount, and location and feelings. And you also have what a serving size looks like. Now, if somebody has a granola bar, it's a bar. It's very simple. But if somebody has a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or peanut butter and jam sandwich, what does 2 tablespoons look like? You know, what does that even look like? I mean, do they measure it? Or and these you can do a little bit better. Here it has 3 ounces of meat is the size of a deck of cards. Well, there are other comparisons. This is a serving looks like a ping pong ball, a tennis ball, and so forth. So there are other comparisons. Here's a food frequency questionnaire, and here you can get an idea if a person eats a variety, just some specific foods. What kind of cereal do you eat? When you do eat it, how much do you consume? And so forth. So this is just a very small food frequency questionnaire. I mean, I would probably like to know about a person's milk intake, fluid intake, more information than just these 4 questions.